Hi, my name is Alejandro Pérez Pérez, and this is the AI Coffee Podcast. Every week, we explore a disruptive aspect of technology and artificial intelligence for the time to drink a cup of coffee. Today, it's a very special day for me because not every day I have one of my best friends here in front of me, in the other side of the camera. Welcome, Isabel. Isa, how are you?
Hi, Alejandro. How are you? I'm so pleased to be here with you. I always hear this song, this presentation on the podcast. So for me to listen it live at this moment was very nice, very amazing. Thank you for inviting me here.
Thank you, Isa. It's a pleasure having you here. And as I said before, you are one of my best friends, but also you are an entrepreneur. And I think you have a very inspirational story to tell other people about. And also, and we will keep this for the end of the episode, we have a project together. You are also my colleague, let's say, on one of the projects we are launching, which is related to AI. So keep until the end to discover what's the project
Okay.
about. But yeah, but let's start a bit knowing you a little bit more because, of course, me, I know you a lot, but I think you have a very, very inspirational story because just for the audience to understand, you study, you are an engineer, and then after a lot of years working on the IT sector, telecommunication sector, you left a stable job and a stable position as an engineer. You were a manager also, and maybe you can talk a bit about that. But you left everything because you wanted to become a freelance, but also because you discovered that yoga was your passion. So, can you tell us a little bit about that step?
Okay. I was while I was working at an office in Madrid. I always felt not that I was not in my environment. So it was something that always wanted to do. To change, to leave my job, to do something by my own. But I always had the same problem. I don't know, maybe somebody who is listening this this podcast has the same problem, because I didn't know what to do. The problem was always the same. I need a change, but I was frustrated because I didn't know what my life purpose or dharma was. So mm, I decided to keep working until a day I said, no, I can't anymore. So I left my job.
Wow, it sounds a very strong story, but also can you give more context about how many years were you working before you did that process?
I think I work as an engineer, as a telecommunications engineer, more than 12, 15 years. I work here in Murcia and then in Madrid. I work with big companies. And for me, it was difficult to do this step, but one of the things that helps me to change was thinking about my age, that I was becoming older. I was 37 years old when I left my job, and I decided that it was the moment, because when I think in the future, if I get older, maybe it would be more difficult to change my job or to change my life.
Wow. And what would you say that was the biggest challenge you faced while doing this process? Because I can imagine it was such a big change of your lifestyle, and also maybe might have some issues with people around you that had other kind of lifestyles. Can you tell more about that?
People for me, the most difficult part was telling to my parents, because they are older, more older than maybe than the other parents of my friends. They were 70 years at this moment. So to telling them that I wanted to leave everything and doing yoga was like, you are crazy. They come from civil war, so it's like, no, I we can't understand. But people, my friends, told me it's normal. Look at you. You are not this type of person that is in an office every day. You must leave it now. So I felt very uh, very that people understand it.
Yeah.
They understand. My friends understand the step that I was doing.
Hmm. I remember when you told us about that, I haven't started thinking about even myself being a freelance or an entrepreneur as I am nowadays. And I you inspire me a bit. And because I saw that you were doing a very brave step, actually, following your dreams, and also like living a full time position with a lot of stability, and yeah, and you weren't afraid. You maybe you were a little bit afraid, but you were facing it really,
Yeah.
really without being really scared, and you were saying, you know, and I remember that you had even a deadline that you said by this time of this year I will be leaving,
Mhm.
and you were preparing a strategy little by little, and finally you did it. So you were brave, you did it, and now you are here. So I think you have a lot of things to talk about. But I want to, if you can, to talk a bit about why yoga. When did you notice that yoga was your passion? Because it's not like you are leaving, maybe as me, for example, a company to do something on your own, more or less in the same field. You were thinking about leaving an engineering position to become a yoga instructor. So why that?
Okay, I started practicing yoga. Then I started studying for being a yoga instructor. But I do it because I love it, not because I wanted to work as a yoga teacher. But when I started doing it every day and studying yoga philosophy, I felt that my life was changing. And for example, when I was working, sometimes I feel very stressed, very unhappy, and then doing yoga helps me to understand that I can be there with working with the colleges that I had, um, being learn something about my bosses. So it changed my mind, and then I felt like, wow, yoga has changed my mind, my mindset, my point of view of different things. Sometimes when somebody tells you something that you are not agree, you felt stressed and that disturbs you. But at this moment it was like, no problem. So I felt like uh, everything was changing and yoga helped me. So I thought, if I do this with the people and help people in that way, their lives will change too.
Yeah, it sounds really great that you took the yoga philosophy to, let's say, a traditional job or position. So that
Mm,
was like the first step, and then you discovered that you wanted even to go higher and to teach others what you were
yeah.
learning. I think it's
Mm,
very very interesting. But Isa, I will also want you to talk a bit about your other part of your freelancing, because of course you started as a yoga instructor, but then I remember that once you told me that you miss a bit computers, because yoga is nice. I think your dharma, as you said, is very focused on yoga and teaching others and inspiring others. But I think there is also a part of yourself related to computers. So you started as a digital marketing expert, and you started a career, a new path on that, as well as you are also focusing on yoga. So how can you mix this combination?
I started doing digital marketing because I need it for my online classes, for my yoga business. So then I started studying WordPress courses, some social media, SEO, and then I realized I enjoy it a lot. So that is why I started some people that knows. Oh, you have done your own website. Could you help me with my website? And I started doing that with my friends. So that's why I changed from yoga to this part, or share both both paths in my life. And I realized that being on my with my laptop and doing my designs and learning how to do something for me was very exciting. And the time was the time flows like so quick, and for me was like oh, I like it too.
It's really also honest that you say that, because usually people working on yoga, I guess that they say we only do yoga for our life and I don't want to do anything else. But you are very honest saying that you love yoga, you love teaching yoga, but also you have other interests, and it's nice to focus on that. But I'm very curious about how you combine these two areas that apparently are different. And you said a bit right, like you study digital marketing for your business, so yoga business. But
Hmm.
is it the opposite way as well? Like learning yoga is also maybe making you a stronger on your digital marketing business. Is it that like that as well?
Yes, I when I how do you say? Okay, I practicing yoga is something that is very disciplined. No, I practice Astanga yoga. That is a very dynamic and traditional yoga style, and I practice it every day at 7 in the morning. So it's like it focus you where you can go. It focus in your practice, and it's like a meditation. So when I finish yoga, I feel like more open-minded. I feel more flexible too, not physical, mentally. and and it helps me with to find the way to solve to solve a lot of problems. Sometimes when you have a problem, it's like, oh, I can you get mad, you don't know what to do. And with yoga, I learn a lot of pranayama. It's some breath exercise, and it's like I breathe, and then everything changed, and I started seeing the things in other way. And in that moment I can, or maybe I it's the time that I say, no, I can't do this at this moment because I don't feel well, so I'm going to walk around the beach or something like that, and then come again and start it again, and your mind changes.
Hmm. Yeah, I see. I see. Like it's part of the way you do. It's like part of your methodology that you bring with you, even though you are not, let's say, teaching yoga. You keep this for your even your personal life. I can imagine, right?
Yeah. Yes, I do, and and I meditate every moment. That if I talk to you and we have something that is like, let's think about that. Let's breathe and think what's the problem with that, because sometimes there's not a problem. It's only a different point of view or something that happened, or maybe you don't feel well that day. Sometimes I can tell you something, and it's because I woke up, I didn't sleep well. So maybe the problem is that people don't know, and don't they are don't, not conscious about when that happened. Yoga helps you to get more conscious about this type of things that happens in your real life.
Hmm. I guess that I have a lot of things to learn from you because
No, no, no,
uh,
no. Everybody has to learn things from everybody.
yeah, but in my case, for example, usually I am able to understand my body and my feelings, but sometimes I am not able, and sometimes as you said, I feel tired or anxious, and I don't even notice, and maybe I make wrong decisions, or maybe I'm not thinking well that day, and for me it's very hard to say, okay, as you said before, today or now, and this is not the moment to make this decision. It's better to go for a walk 1 hour, or just taking your time, rest a bit, or take a nap, or do whatever you want, or go to the gym, whatever. And then maybe later, maybe the next day, maybe the next week, whenever, you will be doing it better. And this is a very, very hard thing for me, and maybe for part of the audience as well. And it's nice that you are teaching this to others,
Mm.
because something you told me a bit, well, a lot of times actually, is that yoga is not like a sport only. It's also a very like a philosophy and a way of thinking, which is very relevant as well.
Yes, I think body and mind is joined, and we usually separate both things into different things. But if you work in your body, it affects to your mind, and if you work in your mind, you will find it in your body too. The emotions are very important to feel the emotions, to try to understand them, and to feel them, not to change them, because it's difficult. If you are afraid of something, you must be conscious about that, and then say, what's the worst thing that could happen if I do that? For example, if I leave my job, what is the worst thing that can happen? And then you will find that always you can solve this. If there's not a problem only when you die, no. It's something that
Yeah.
you can. But if you have a problem, it's like, but I can find another job. If you don't have money, you can find another job, or maybe you know somebody that will help you with their money, your partner, your parents. So maybe is only to be conscious about the problem, and your and what are you feeling in your with your emotions.
Hmm. Really good point. Really good point, Isa. But just before we pass to the our project, I wanted you to talk a bit about your services, actually, because maybe there is someone now that says in his or her mind, I want to do yoga with Isa. So can you explain maybe what do you do, if you do something online? Yeah, can you explain a bit before we pass to AI directly, another topic?
Okay, because I we are talking in a AI podcast about yoga, so people will like. But okay, okay. If somebody wants to join with me in yoga classes, I do yoga online. I teach online in isabelcantero.com. They will find the options, or they can talk to me. I don't know. I think you leave
Yes.
the contact. Um, I mainly teach Astanga yoga. That is a very demanding style. So if you feel, if somebody that is listening that this podcast think, oh, yoga is not for me because it's too slow, and I can't with that. They can join me, because this type of yoga is not like that. It's very dynamic. You can't even think. A lot of breaths, a lot of movement, and it's for me it was a change in my life. Okay. I also work on another projects with some friends and clients, small clients, and I have another project that before our project, before talking about project, I have another project with a friend where we teach. We do some marketing tips to yoga teachers. That is called Ecam Digital, And the other project is our project, Holachatbot. I don't know if you want to start talking about that or.
No, it's fine. Maybe you can start because, well, just a small parenthesis. Well, I will just say a couple of things about that project. Uh, we are very enthusiastic just now, the time we are recording, which is the end of February 2025, because we just been like noticed that we will be part of um, a startup project that is going to help us grow in this project, like with experts, with lawyers, with a lot of people that, yeah. So we are very enthusiastic about that, and we need to train our PTs about all that startup thing and entrepreneurship things that you might know for sure. But yeah, so we are practicing a bit. So Isa, do you want to practice a bit? What's all a chatbot and why it is important in the world?
Hola Chatbot is an AI agency, chatbots agency. Um, um, we build chatbots for different type of businesses. We are doing now for health professionals, and we want to do it in e-commerces in e-commerce, sorry, and small businesses or big.
Yes, and it's also nice because as I said, this is like an MVP. We are at this time in the validation process, so it's one side. It's a little bit a mess because we don't know where to go. It's like we are testing, we are
That's
playing, we
dangerous.
are doing experiments. But on the other hand, it's very nice because very exciting because we don't even know maybe in 2 months, 3 months, or 6 months, or 1 year what's going to be with that because
Mm.
there is such a now with AI a lot of things we can do, and but also it's very complicated sometimes to translate what AI is able to do to
Mm.
business purposes or business use cases. This is very hard, and also it's difficult to create products based on AI that maybe will would be able to be sold. This is a very complicated thing because what we are our idea is, as Isa said, now we are at this time, and of course, maybe in 2 months or 1 month is maybe going to be different. We are focusing on healthcare sector, and we are discovering that even though I think we have a lot of applications here, there is also a lot of challenges, and one is like security, privacy, ethical stuff. This is very complicated because when we are talking about illnesses, medical things, we should be aware that this is a very protected like type of data that we should be being careful about. And also the other thing which is difficult is like um it's not like we are selling small things to small shops. Like it's we are trying to build big, like digital things, and sometimes people are not aware about the good use cases they can have. So yeah, but it's a game. I think we are both in the same mood that we have other projects, we have other stuff, but this is like a game, right? Like we are playing and learning, and it's funny.
Yes, I love technology, Alejandro. I think for me it's something that is always been easy to learn some new applications, programs, and technologies. So for me, this project is a way to stay to keep my connection with my geek side, my technical side, and I love to talk to you. You are my one of my best friends too, and I love chatting with you about this type of projects, AI, physics, technology, and much more things. So when you told me to join you in this project, it was like, oh, of course, I I want to be with you in that, and I like to do like you told, you said that we are looking for the best way to launch this project. We are looking for the best type of business, so we are playing now with the cards that we have and trying to fit it in the best business.
Hmm. Actually, we are very lean on the lean startup perspective. That is, we prefer being makers, doing things rather than only dreamers. This is something I usually say in Spanish. I usually say it like that in Spanish, but in English, it's also, I think, has a sense. And the idea is like, maybe we can have the idea of doing something with AI. Maybe a lot of people have this idea now to start a project, and this is very interesting. But the best thing you can do is try it a bit, and there, like, focusing on the project. And it's completely fine to do wrong things, like, because we have done a lot of wrong things. I said, as maybe we can think a lot about them, but we have done a lot of wrong things. But little by little, you learn from that experience,
That's true.
and you
No.
build something that little by little is better. And then one day, that until now maybe we haven't had that day, but one day maybe this project is going to be sustainable, or we're going to have a lot of customers, and maybe it's going to be the next Facebook. Who knows?
I think, Alejandro, that is something that is very new for people. Chatbots and AI are here to stay. That's true, but not everybody. If you are on LinkedIn or Instagram, you think that everybody is talking about ChatGPT, chatbots, prompting, AI. But in the real world, I live in La Manga, in a small city in Murcia, and when I tell people that I'm doing chatbots with you, they told me like, "What are you talking about?" They don't know about ChatGPT, and it's like, "Why?" So there's a long way because we have to tell people you need something that they don't know
Hmm.
it does, and so it's difficult, but I think it's something that has come to stay. It's like the internet when it started. So
Hmm.
I'm very excited with this project. I think it will change a lot of businesses in this in this country.
Yes, yes, of course. And I think it's not only that now we are all talking about AI, and AI is very trendy. It's like it really creates a value. Maybe let's use a bit the end of this episode to talk a bit about our project and sell it. If there is someone who wants to implement something, a chatbot, an AI agent, or something like that, like, for example, we have been talking recently with a dentist. It was more like a company that has, I think, some clinics
Mm,
in one part of Spain, and they had around, I think, 1,200 visitors or
mm,
customers or patients every week.
mm,
And for example, they told us that they were saying to these customers the day before they were in the clinic, they were
mm,
sending manually a WhatsApp message or calling them manually, like a real person, just for remembering these people that they has this meeting with the doctor. Because, as maybe you don't know, but this is one of the main issues of the clinics, that people forget to go or decide not to go in the last minute, and this is a very huge problem, as you can imagine, because having a doctor without doing anything, it's a waste of money for them. So the good point is, like, just we were doing the numbers, and we are able nowadays to implement an AI agent, a chatbot, we can call it as we want, that do these reminders, like, automatically, for example. And of course, this chatbot also can explain the services of this clinic, also explain the treatments. Also, for example, if it's 3 a.m. in the morning and you have a pain on your teeth, you can also talk through this chatbot through WhatsApp, and it's better than a human, of course. I mean, it's better than a human to do that, but sometimes if it's a Sunday at 3 a.m., maybe you don't have a human to talk with. So with all these things, we think we can create a lot of value to this clinic, because it will create a lot of value then to its customers. But as you mentioned, one of our main challenges is explaining the value we create with the chatbot, because this is something very new, and it's also very hard for us to understand if maybe there is other ways we can help them. It's very, very tricky. What do you think?
I think the same. No, I told you that the problem is that they don't know the way the chatbot can help them, and sometimes they feel that mm, how many people is going to contact them by chat with the chatbot by the website or maybe the WhatsApp, and they don't believe that this change is happening, because I think young people or from millennials like me, young people, I like to think that I'm young too, um, they prefer to text than to phone. Me too. I don't like to phone and ask for an appointment. So I prefer send a WhatsApp, or maybe if they have the appointments on the website, I take my appointment. And sometimes you are doing other things while talking with you. I'm taking my appointment. I don't have to phone. So I think it's the future, but and nowadays they have to invest money in these in this type of applications, and that's why they are accepting.
Hmm. Hmm. Yes, that's true. And actually, I didn't told you, but I didn't tell you, but yesterday or the day before, a person also told me that good points will be for foreign people. For example, there are a lot of foreign people in Spain, for example, in the place, for example, where you live,
Yes.
and maybe they talk a bit of Spanish, but not they are not fluent on Spanish. So it's much easier for them to talk through WhatsApp or through another way like that, like taking their time for writing. Even the chatbots usually they can recognize all the languages, so it's maybe you can get an appointment with the doctor talking in your native language, which is of course much better if you want to explain exactly your symptoms, what happened to you. So it's maybe easier for that, and also for accessibility. But what
For
about people that have whatever problem that is not able to talk well, or
Hmm.
to express like talking by phone, which is the usual way of taking an appointment? And actually, when talking about healthcare, it's like very obvious, like they should be aware of that. And I think it's a way to complement, not to substitute. This is also
Yes.
what we say. We don't want to take the human out, of course, but I think it's a good hybrid, because humans are not able to be reached out every day, the full day, 24/7. I mean, of course, there are emergencies, hospitals, of course, but imagine these small clinics, these clinics that maybe they have a person from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., for example.
Hmm.
Why if What if, for example, me, I want to take an appointment at 10 p.m., because I remember at that time that I want an appointment with an expert. Yeah, I guess there is like a lot of use cases that are interesting. Yeah.
And maybe even when there is if you want to take an appointment at 10 now, at this moment at 11 in the morning, uh, maybe the person, the receptionist, can't at this moment text you, because is talking with a customer or helping the doctor to do something. So you can answer all the questions of a customer and take the appointment without doing anything. So I
Yeah.
think it's something that will change the way they are working at this moment in a lot of not only dentists or health professionals, maybe in the restaurants, the hairdressers, everybody will
Yeah.
use it.
Yeah, we will see little by little, and yeah, we will see also our company, a startup project, whatever it
Yes.
names. Let's see what's the future with that. But Isa, we are little finishing the time, so I want you also to talk a bit about from your personal experience. If you could give an advice, for example, to someone who would be thinking about doing such a huge change of his or her way of living, as you said, as your case, for example, from engineering to being a yoga instructor, then and like launching projects, can you say some advice for someone to maybe make the transition smoother and more successful?
I think if they felt that they want to do that, I would tell them that maybe there's a romantic side of freelancing that is not true. I advise them, no, is I start for the worst side because you think, oh, being my own boss, having my own schedule, but sometimes is it translates in working for a lot of bosses, your customer, and work in even in weekends. So it's not and the other problem is that when you are working in a company, in a big company, and you have a doubt or a problem, somebody can solve it. But if you are on your own, it's more difficult to find somebody that helps you. Sometimes you have to go to your friends. I go to Alejandro, helps me, please. I don't know what to do. Or we help each other, but and with other freelancers. But it's difficult sometimes, and you feel alone, and it's hard. And the other way, if you have your path and you want to do that, I think it's an amazing. The way is very is a good. Every morning when I wake up and I say like, wow, I can practice yoga, read some text or some book that I love, and then start like slow mornings. I think it's the same in Spanish, so we said the same expression. Slow mornings, and when you are working in an office, you should wake up in the morning very early, uh, run, go to the office, or maybe in your case or in other cases, people that works from home don't have to do the same, but uh, it's nice this part of being freelance that you can uh, schedule your meetings where you want, when you want, and do it in the other way. So if you feel that want to start working at 10 or 11, you can do it. So is this is the best part, I think. And having a project and that is yours, I think is the best thing. Is the first thing because you know that you are building something. I said that before being freelance, I the thing that I was doing was not working. Going to the office and do the things that people tell you to do is not the same. When you are freelancing, you are working in your project, you are involved in your project, and you you feel aligned with your project. Is I think is something that you must do if you have your path clear and you want to do that. You should do that.
Hmm.
And another aspect that I will tell people your is that they have um, to do it thinking not like one day I want to quit and go to your boss and tell sorry I leave today. No, you must think about that, talk to your boss, be clear, be honest, and it will help you to do this step.
Hmm. Yes, I agree. I think being honest is part of everything because you never know. Like these people you were working with, maybe they are going to be maybe your first customers. That happens a lot of times. But also maybe they have friends, people in the sector, a lot of other people they talk to that maybe they will if you are good with them, it's
Mm.
much more easier that maybe they recommend you being your customer or whatever, right? And I think it's, for me, it's also better to do things honestly, because the other way, I don't even understand it. But yes, I agree with you. I agree, like being on your own, it's not, I mean, it's a lot of there's a lot of people talking about that. I think a lot of myths about that. It's not like it's not easy to earn money on your own. Of course, this
Mm.
is something that it's
It's
not
difficult.
evident, and many people say yes, you can do this and this, and then you earn a lot of thousands of euros every day. No, this is not real. Maybe some, yes, but this is not the common thing. But also, I think it's for me, the best thing is like it's very motivated. It's like every day you have a lot of new things to learn about,
Yes.
because also at the beginning of a project you need to do everything. And even if you are, I don't know, in my case, I knew a lot of AI and data stuff,
Mm.
but I needed to learn copy, marketing, SEO, I don't know, even how to edit photographs, Canva,
Tax-
I mean,
taxes.
many. Sorry.
Taxes, Spanish taxes. You
Of
must
course,
learn accountability. I think is the worst part.
accountability. Yes, yes, this is the worst part, and the main like advice to someone who wants to start something is have someone who knows about that, a person, a lawyer, or whatever, that you can delegate this directly to this person, because wow, this is I don't know if in other countries, I guess it's more or less similar everywhere, but it's completely, it's like a business directly. If you are you're taking care of that paper things, it's like you need to focus 8 hours per day, and you cannot do any other thing, only making your invoices, do all the accountability, all the taxes, how all the tax declaration, everything, like. And also, I mean, it's a master degree, you
Yes.
and
It's another degree.
it's another degree. But yeah, it's also, but it's nice to understand a bit how this is done, though. I mean, for me, sometimes it's like, oh my god. For example, the recent thing is about GDPR, even though
Mm.
I
Mm.
knew a lot of things from the side of being a data whatever, data scientist, data whatever, analyst. I did a lot of things around data, a lot of roles. But uh, even though I knew that from that part, like when you are launching a project, at least in the EU, or if you have EU customers, you need to be on the GDPR, which is very nice if you are a customer, of course, because they protect your data and all that stuff. But when you are starting a project, it's a lot of work you need to do, a lot of policies you need to take care of. And even, I mean, it was like for 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks, maybe, I don't know, 6 hours per week, the last 2 weeks, working on things around the GDPR, which of
Mm.
course are necessary. Maybe in the future, I'm not going to be working on that, because I mean, it's something maybe you start at the beginning well and then you keep it. But it's like, wow, now I needed to learn what things I need to write on the privacy, legal stuff on my website, on my emails. It's a lot of things. Yeah.
Yes, there are a lot of things to know, and it's another degree, it's another lot of time that you can't be doing what you want, or building your own project, because you need to know all these issues to work. So it's difficult for me. It's the worst part of being freelancer.
Mm. But as you said at the beginning, let's breathe. Let's think about that, and yeah, take your time and go for it. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Isa, we are finishing. So, well, already the two last questions I ask to all my guests here. So, the first one you said a bit before, but you can do more to
Hmm.
talk more about where the audience can connect with you, even though you know that I put all the links in the description of the episode. And then the very last question is, what is your favorite type of coffee? Because this is the AI Coffee podcast. We have been talking about AI, but now let's talk about coffee a bit.
And we talk about yoga too this time.
Yes.
If they want to join to my yoga classes, they can find me at isabelcantero.com. isabelcantero.com or on Instagram at Isabel Cantero Yoga. And they can also find me on LinkedIn or contact us through holachatbot.es. And my favorite type of coffee, I love coffee. I love coffee, and I like latte with soy or oat milk because I'm vegetarian. That's my favorite type of coffee. A lot of coffee with oat milk. Or
Great. Yeah, great point. Okay, so thank you very much, Isa. It was a
thank
very
you.
a special like gift for me having you here because yeah, you are one of my best friends, as I said, and I think you have a very nice story to talk about, and I hope you enjoy it as well as me.
Yes, I enjoyed a lot. I feel very pleasure to be here, and I always hear and listen your podcast, and that's another point of view of your podcast. So thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and thank you to you that are watching until the end. I hope you enjoy this combination with yoga, AI, freelancing. We have been talking about many different things, so I hope you enjoy it. And of course, if you liked it, please subscribe to the podcast. That makes me growing a bit, making this bigger, making this longer. And yeah, let's see you in the next episode. Bye bye.